Hi, welcome to Splash and Go. Nate Ryan here with Dale Jarrett, NBC Sports Charlotte. DJ, you were on NASCAR America last night talking about the debut of the full new 2019 rules package at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. One thing that I thought was interesting, DJ, is no yellows for any incidents during the race at Las Vegas. Atlanta, same thing. You had cautions. You had a few more cautions at Atlanta, but still no yellows for spins or crashes. So that's 900 straight miles in the Cup Series in which drivers have managed to keep their cars underneath them under highly competitive conditions. What does that say to you about the new rules?
Way too much downforce. And when these rules were announced, I'd been in talks at times with NASCAR about the engine downsize, if you will, the horsepower, a lot less, a couple of hundred horsepower that they took it down. I like that idea, but I think that these cars with the flat sides, the quarter panels all the way down to the ground, the no ride, especially in the Cup Series, then you put this tall spoiler on the back. It's really hard to spin these cars out. And I'm not advocating, I'm not looking for wrecks or anything like that, but it's very unusual. And I think that this should be difficult to drive these race cars. When you have the best drivers at the highest level and we're having no cautions. Now, let's look at one thing too, though. We've had two tracks with Atlanta and Las Vegas that with this new rules package that the racing has a lot of lanes. So you could race from the bottom to the middle to the top. And so when you have that, the cars aren't going to be quite as close together. But even as we saw drivers side drafting and doing things that in years past might have gotten the cars more loose to where we saw something happen, that wasn't happening. We saw a lot of side drafting and guys not spin the cars out. And again, not looking for wrecks or anything, but I think that you have to make this more difficult. So I think the cars, in my opinion, just have too much downforce, and some of the drivers are benefiting from that, and others, it's not so much for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. A byproduct of tough competitive racing, of the cars being difficult to drive, is caution flags. And I think it's also interesting, DJ, that I think we're seeing some drivers who are accustomed to maybe driving with the throttle or preferring loose race cars struggle a little bit. And one that comes to mind immediately, obviously, is the 7-time champion Jimmie Johnson outside the top 15 at Atlanta, at Las Vegas, with these new rules. So do you think that he is being maybe adversely impacted and trying to adjust to this package?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the worst case scenario. Hendrick coming off of their worst season that we can remember in 2018 and many, many years with the new Camaro, still working on that, trying to find exactly what they need. A new crew chief for the first time in Jimmie's Cup career, and then with this less horsepower and high downforce package, I don't think that fits Jimmie's driving style very well. He has to make do some adapting to that. And I look at it in that the drivers that have been running a lot of the Xfinity races, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, these guys that win a lot of those, Brad and Joey are in those too, that they understand what this is about and the things that you need to do in the field that you have with the cars and things that you have to do with that. And so I think that it's going to take some of the others that haven't been doing that a little bit longer. And Jimmie, you know, 7-time champion, he's still as good a race driver as there is out there on the circuit, but it's going to take a different driving style. Jimmie was always one that utilized the horsepower and the cars not driving so good when they didn't have as much downforce in years past, to where he could drive this car looser than other people could. Well, that's the no advantage right now, because you really can't make the cars that loose, and I think it's going to take Jimmie and his entire crew some time to get him in the mindset of what you have to do to make these cars go around the track.
You know, Jimmie only had one win in the Xfinity Series famously before he moved to Cup. Do you think, I mean, 43 years old, but do you think maybe he might want to go back and try it a little bit just to get that experience to acclimate?
Yeah, that's a good point, Nate. I think that it would benefit him. I don't know that he's willing to do that or has that opportunity. I'm sure that, you know, I know that Dale Jr. has his Xfinity program and some races that they're looking to fill and things. And if it were me, you know, I would look at some of the bigger tracks to where that's going to be more important. I think when you get to the short tracks, you get to a Phoenix this weekend, coming up with Bristol and Martinsville and places like that, you know, that's things that he's going to be able to do, because it's a totally different field. But I think on the bigger tracks, there's things you're going to have to do different. And I don't think it would be a bad idea for him to jump in an Xfinity car and have a full weekend of making that happen.
Yeah, interesting. Well, DJ mentioned Dale Jr. Don't forget tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. Dale Jr. Download, Jeffrey Earnhardt, the guest with Dale Earnhardt Jr. tonight. And as always, weekdays, 5 p.m. Eastern, NBCSN, NASCAR America. You can watch it every night, Monday through Thursday. Thanks for watching Splash and Go.
Hey NASCAR fans, thanks for checking out the NBC Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe below for the latest NASCAR news, race highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.